Savon, let's change some lives today, just like you said. I was scrolling the LinkedIn feed. I noticed you on there. You broke into tech. I want to talk about your experience so that anyone out there that's listening that also wants to break into tech, no matter their background, no matter their experience, no matter having no connections, they can do it too. Let's tell your story. So, when did you decide you wanted to get into tech sales and how did you do it?
Yeah, so this is like my second time breaking into tech sales. The first time was like an accident. I didn't even mean to like go into sales. I was just trying to be a software engineer. Like during COVID, I had no opportunities, was broke as you could be. I needed an opportunity to get ahead. And so I come across this website called Career Karma. They navigate me to go into a boot camp program. It's for software engineering. I do that for 5 months. And at the end of the program, I got curious about what Career Karma was and joined one of their live hosted online meetings, kind of like a Twitter Spaces type thing. Jumped in there, shared my energy. The host was like, "Hey, you're so energetic. You might as well just apply here." I was like, "Okay." So I did. Worked at Career Karma for 10 months, but I did that because I was passionate about speaking, helping people, encouraging people. That's what's natural to me. Even through the software engineering bootcamp program, the software engineering part was hard. Software is hard, man. It was very technical. You got to be very logical. But what I was good at was communicating with my peers, just kind of help them manage their mindset, their mentality as they're going through these hard issues. I don't have answers for you, but I can remind you, hey, take a breath, break down the large problem to a small problem. You know, I could do that. I can talk, right? And so I got into that at Career Karma. And this recent one, this recent re-entry into tech sales was intentional. I was having a conversation with my dad one day, and at the end of the conversation, he was like, what do you like to do? What do you want to do?" Like I was like, "Well, I like to learn things and share things with people." And what I realized is that what that is communication. Like the art of getting something from your mind into someone else's mind is communication. And then I started looking at my career, my previous experience. I had worked at Career Karma, which is a sales role, and I went to work with Galvanize, which is another ed tech company trying to help people learn software through there. And I was like, well, if I go back into sales with intention, get good at sales, I'll also get good at communicating, and I also make a lot of money as well. So that's what brought me on the journey to go to Course Careers, do the course, get better at sales. I finally entered back into sales with a framework of understanding, okay, this is how the sales world works. And now here I am working at another startup, practicing everything I've learned, which is exactly what I wanted to do. And so I'm in sales, getting good at that, but I also have the intention of just mastering communication through sales.
How has tech sales impacted your life?
It's been a journey of like constant growth, and it also shows me like the importance of applying information, right? I think we're taught to always be learning, and that learning is good. Like when you go to school, like you're tested, you get a test, and like you pass the test, or you are able to successfully recite the information from your head, you get a grade. It's like, yay, knowing is good enough when you're in school. But in real life, you're rewarded for what you're able to actually do, right? And so I think what sales does is that it challenges me to actually utilize stuff that I know, to put it to practice, and because it's what you can do, the results you can get that show your experience as a salesperson, that get you the results that you want to have in your career. And I think it's challenged me to actually utilize the information that I have and put it to use.
Talk about your experience breaking into tech sales. How many companies did you have to apply to?
Yeah.
How did your interview process go? Just talk a bit more about that.
Yeah. So for this current job, it's a very young startup. Our entire team is 9 people. My CEO works right next door to me, which is, I guess, it's kind of common when you're at a really early stage startup. But through this interview process, I had a lot of companies that I felt confident about. I remember I had one interview with like a POS system software or device, and I was super confident about it. I gave it my all. They eventually came back and was like, "Hey, you were great, but we had someone who was slightly better." So in this round of job search, I kept getting hit in the head with just like, "Hey, you're great or you're cool, but you're not good enough." You start to see like start to come face to face with the reality of competition. Like you are competing with
Mm.
other people for the same opportunity, and at the end of the day, it's about who's most experienced, who can present themselves well. So I was presenting myself well in those interviews, I believe. Maybe I could have did better, but I was also just being beat by experience. And so with this one, this job, it actually came to me through LinkedIn. A recruiter reached out to me like, "Hey, I got this opportunity to start, but looking for people. I think you'd be a good fit." And I was also just kind of like tired. Like I got this job at the airport. It was also a sales job. It was easy. I was like, I'm kind of chilling right now, but they reached out to me, and I was like, I'm gonna say yes anyway. Even though I'm like, I don't even know if I want to do this. I'm gonna say yes anyway. Find out about the opportunity. I did my first interview with the CEO directly. Very charismatic individual. We had a good connection. The second interview was with my current sales manager, and after that interview, Trent, I felt like I failed that interview. I felt like it was a complete flop. I was like, "There's no way they're calling me back." And he asked me questions. He was like, "So, how would you approach prospecting for this role?" And I really didn't like think about that question for whatever reason. I was just like, let me just figure out an answer on the spot. And I said some words. I said something that sounded good enough, I guess. And then I was, to my surprise, they invited me to a third interview, and I got to meet the COO and the CTO at the same time in like a little conference room. And after that interview, same thing. I was like, well, this is a great, because this was in person, right? So this was like, in my mind, I was like, well, we had a great field trip downtown. Yay. But they're not going to hire me. And so, yeah, it's just like a lot of like, I'm not sure if this is going to be a good fit or not good fit, but I'm not sure if they're going to call me back or if I did good enough for the interview. But they gave me a chance, and now here I am. So
That's amazing. When you don't know how it went, and then all of a sudden it goes well. And I like the point you made around competition, because that's a
yeah,
harsh reality of not only getting the job, but succeeding in the job is there are other people that are also competing for the exact same thing you want. And just because you want it doesn't mean you're going to get it. The question is, how do you be better than other people? How does your life look at a startup? Like, what is the day to day like? Because I'm sure a lot of people are questioning, all right, startup, middle sized
yeah,
company, big company. So, talk a
yeah.
bit about that.
Yeah, so I think the difference between working in a big company and a small company is that you matter more for sure. Like when you're in a big company, it's easier to replace you. Like the company's name is out there; they can go hire anybody whenever they want to. When you're at a startup, like your contribution is more impactful because like it's me. I was the first SDR on the entire team. Like that's how small this startup is, right? It's me. And I have a partner they hired like 2 weeks after me, and then my sales manager who kind of like led the charge a few months before us. But it's scrappy at some points, like you come in, you plug your computer in, and the screens don't work. You gotta like figure out how to get the configuration to like uh, display your laptop on the screens. Or I had one of my coworkers who worked before me. He's in our engineering team. He told me on his first day he had to build his desk, right? Like so, you don't you don't come into a startup expecting everything to be set up. You come into a startup with the mindset of like you are going to be what is the future infrastructure of the company. You are going to be the one who figures things out, and tries things, fails, and you're going to write the documentation that's going to be the future training of whoever comes with that department. So you're really just building it from the ground up. You got to build the plane as you fly. Basically, you are the infrastructure of the team. What you're going to do and what you're going to like document is going to be the future. Like the documentation for the training of the new people when they come in, right? Like you are building everything from the ground up. So nothing is set in place. So you got to be ready to like get in the weeds of things and figure things out, try and fail. There is no, how has this been done before? Let's follow that. Like you are the person doing the things and figuring it out so that future colleagues or future people who join the team will know what to do and how to function within the team.
What advice would you have for someone that wants to break into tech sales?
I would say you got to be willing to work really hard to learn this stuff. To give you an idea of what I did, like I had a regimented schedule. I woke up, I studied for an hour, hour and a half, went to the gym for 30 minutes, traveled an hour and a half to work, studied during that time. Then was focused at work for the full 8 hours. Then I would like search for jobs on the way home because I use public transportation. It takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours to get home. So my day was fully stacked. So like over an entire week, I was probably putting like 80 hours in because I was working on the weekends as well. So you got to be willing to like get the information in your head. You're always going to be learning, you're always going to be growing. And I believe that one of the most impactful things I heard, because I listen to Andy Elliott a lot, he says that only way that salespeople can get better is through rehearsal, is through saying words out of your mouth. So if you want to get good at this, practice writing scripts, practice delivering things, take some time to think about what you're going to say in responses to objections. Maybe if you have a colleague, pull them to the side and try to do some mock calling with them. There's also software out there, or Glen Coco is a great platform that a lot of SDRs are coming up into now, where they can go ahead and actually practice their sales skills in a real sales environment, commission only. You do get paid though, and it's a great place to like really experience what the SDR experience is like. In a place where you can't really get fired. You know what I mean?
I really like that advice. And the final question is, what's your review on Course Careers for someone that is questioning, okay, well, I want the information. Where is the information? What information? Course Careers is an option. So what would be your review?
Yeah, Course Careers was great. Like I said, I had about a year of sales experience before I got into Course Careers. So, but that year was me kind of winging it. Like I knew to do calls and do emails and stuff, but I never did any training, never read any books. I was trying to figure it out while I was in just the busyness of doing the actual job. But what Course Careers did for me was give me an actual framework to help me understand like where I am or how the sales world works. So I now had methodologies, understand the psychology of people and connection and stuff like that going through the books that were part of the program. So I definitely recommend Course Careers because it's a great way to get an understanding of the full landscape of what the SDR role is and to give you that foundation that you're going to need when you are entering into that first sales role. So definitely recommend it.
Well said. Well, Savon, thanks so much for being here today. I've linked the free tech sales intro course from Course Careers in the description below for anyone that wants to learn more, and keep crushing it in your role with the startup.
Will do. Appreciate you taking the time to have me on.
Yep. Pleasure. Bye.
Thank you.